to go, and this one should be interesting. Don Frye against Gary Goodridge.
Absolutely
right now,
respect.
Here comes Don Frye for the championship of the main draw of UFC 8. Don Frye, 6'1", 206, 30 years of age, 700+ victories. Greco-Roman wrestling, also has studied judo, boxing, and silat. Second-degree black belt in judo. Managed by Dan the Bee Severn, trained by Richard Hamilton and Russ Harris. Frye goes for the championship. And Jeff, you know all about Greco-Roman wrestling.
Well, Frye has a good wrestling background, which obviously gives him good skills at being able to take people off their feet and put them to the ground. But again, that's not an end in itself. He needs submission. He's a competitive wrestler. He said he's not going to go for a takedown early, but as we saw before, he threw a hand waiting for a counter, and as soon as that counter came, he took him down, and he will strike when his opponent is on the ground.
So Dan the Bee Severn, we thank him for joining us. He now is perched high atop the octagon talking to his fighter as he takes on the very dangerous Gary Big Daddy Goodridge. Here's a look at Gary Goodridge so far tonight. Young man from Canada, was born in Trinidad. Does some freestyle wrestling with John Knapp. 4th degree black belt in Kuk Soo Wan. Married to Karen. He's got a daughter, Quinnell, age 10. His brother and bodyguard, Garvin Goodridge, is also a specimen. And right now, Goodridge has gotten rid of the gi. He's just coming out in straight bare bones.
Well, Gary Goodridge has a strong upper body, and that probably comes from his wrist wrestling experience as well as his weightlifting. He knows he's limited on the ground. He believes he's a knockout puncher, and he will strike on the ground, which was evidenced by the short elbows that he won his first bout with.
He recently won arm wrestling from a guy named Cleve Dean, who's from Georgia, 6'7", 593. And he's well known in the arm wrestling world, isn't he?
He's known in the arm wrestling world, but he also participated in the World's Strongest Man. He was in there with all those other behemoths doing incredible acts of power like pulling trains and lifting kegs of beer or anything over their head without, specific lifts, or like a snatch lift with the liquid inside makes it very difficult. So yeah, he's got quite a history of power promotion.
Gary Goodridge calls himself a gentle giant. I don't know if I'd call him gentle. Here's Rich Goins with the introduction.
For the finals of the Ultimate Fighting Championship 8. Please welcome our two competitors coming back at 6'1", 206 pounds, the Greco-Roman wrestler, 2nd degree black belt in judo, 30 years old, from Sierra Vista, Arizona, the Predator, Don Frye. And his opponent, 6'3", 258 pounds, a 4th degree black belt in the art of Kuk Soo Wan, from Canada, the Canadian amateur heavyweight boxing champion. Let's hear it for Big Daddy, Gary Goodridge. Let's get it on.
Well, I questioned Goodridge earlier about arm wrestling 1,000 men in a row in 2 hours in Japan. I will not ever laugh at him again. Please, Gary, I apologize. Here's a look at the disciplines. Age 30 apiece, right on the nose. Keep in mind here, we've got a David in Don Frye. We've got a Goliath in Gary Goodridge. This is the way the tournament has panned out.
And you have to wonder, when you take a look at Shamrock, he was a David against Chemo, the Goliath. And we had a David win there. But this one's going to be a tough one to call, only because Goodridge, so powerful on the ground. He can come back from really a position where he's very open to attack, as we saw against Bolander.
UFC 8 for the title.
He was able to overcome technique in his last bout, but he used up a lot of energy. He seemed to be tiring a little bit, so we'll see if that works for him against Don Frye.
Frye is very fresh, has fought less than a minute in the octagon tonight.
Quick right jabs.
There's a right hand by Frye.
If it stays up, I put my money on Frye.
Frye trying to trip Goodridge.
Oh, I wouldn't let Goodridge in there.
No, because with his strength, he's dangerous.
Look out. Goodridge got behind Frye. Frye landing some good elbows. And a drop to the canvas by Goodridge. Missed with the big kick.
That kind of attack really doesn't have a place. I mean, it's a long shot, but I'm not sure if it's really worth it. You have him in a vulnerable position. Work it.
It's dramatic.
Very dramatic.
It's more like the movies, Don the Dragon.
Well, yeah, but there's a choreographer in the movies, and Big John's no choreographer.
Up against the octagon fence. Again, knees being landed by Frye.
You notice that Gary Goodridge took the gi off. Perhaps that gi in this kind of a heat was really something that worked against him.
There goes the mouthpiece from Goodridge's mouth, I believe.
Oh, underhooks.
He's going to go out.
Gary Goodridge is really in trouble here.
Frye landed 3 or 4 good right hands.
He had him going.
Got a couple of short uppercuts in there. I thought he had him stunned.
He has some great boxing skill there, Don. Undercut or uppercuts and then roundhouse hooks.
They're short shots. That's what's impressing me. It's the short shots that he's landing on them, not the wide shots.
Hey, Don, short uppercuts are effective. Goodridge picks him up and drops him.
Watch for the choke here.
He's behind him. He's behind him.
And Frye rolls him. And another right hand by Frye. He's trying to get that explosive punching power out there.
There it is.
That's it. It's over.
Don Frye.
Donnie Frye wins it.
That David beats the Goliath.
Those short right hands did it again.
Don Frye wins the David versus Goliath tournament.
And I think that's the first time I've seen a towel get thrown in. The towel went in.
206 pounds, wins it. It took 2 minutes and 14 seconds. And look at that mutual respect.
Well, these guys have nothing against each other. This is not two men who have anything personal against each other. They're competitors competing in a sport.
And Goodridge raising the hand of Frye in victory. Wow. Who would have ever thought Don Frye would have run the table? So a Dan Severn disciple wins UFC 8. Kenny Shamrock disciple gets to the semifinals despite being very small.
If Don ever wants to give up fighting, he's got a job as Tom Selleck's double. I'm telling you. Every time I look at him, I can't believe it.
He fought in Tijuana, Mexico in an old bull ring. Realized it was time to move on. And now he has selected the UFC. That's his vehicle for success. Dragon, here's a look at some action.
Okay, what he does is what he did the last time. As soon as he gets out from right there, as soon as he gets out from that, he takes down Goodridge and gets on top of him and lands those short rights. I mean, from here, he throws the uppercuts. It looked like he might have stunned him with one of them. Right there, there you see Goodridge covering up. He goes on defensive. Now, many times in a boxing match, that in itself will stop a fight. Here he is getting on top of Goodridge.
Good roll there.
Absolutely, this barrage right here, just short right hands, and elbow.
And eventually you'll see
right
the
there,
towel.
he taps right there. He can't defend himself. The right hand tapped. I thought John stopped it, but actually it was a tap out.
Frye wrestled at Arizona State from '84 to '87 and Oklahoma State from '88 to '80.